The NCERT, the NCERT never tells us why Bhakti started in South. If you read NCERT, it gives you one sentence. It says, Bhakti movement started in 6th century South India. But what is the reason? So the reason, to understand the reason, you have to understand these things. That is, South India did not have feudalism. Number two, land grants were given to Brahmins and non-Brahmins. To Brahmins because they have to expel Buddhism, and to non-Brahmins because you have to pull the non-Brahmins back to the fold of Brahmanism who have lost the path. So in order to bring them back, you have to also accept the gods which they worship. When I say they here, I mean non-Brahmins, the tribes, the nomads. When you acknowledge those gods in Brahmanism, it is called Bhakti movement. And that Bhakti movement leads to Hinduism. So if somebody asks you, where did Hinduism as a religion born? The answer is South India. Because Bhakti movement starts 6th century South India. Now we have to understand why there is no feudalism. Of course, there is no dearth of wealth. So if we trace the money, we understand why it does not have feudalism. Written, everybody? Done? Now, today in this class, our focus is on South India. Byzantine, China, Southeast Asia, South was blessed with lots and lots of ports. For example, Goa. For example, a port called Tondi. For example, a port called Muchiri. Also called Muziris. A port called Kolam. Also called Kulon. On the other side, we have Kailipatnam. We have Korkai. We have Tondi. Then we have Arikamedu. Then we have two ports very close to each other, two dots, but I'll write them together. Nagapattinam and Kaveripatnam. And then finally, Motapalli. Goa belonged to Kadambas. It's a kingdom. Tondi, Muchiri and Kulon belong to the Cheras. Kailipatnam, Korkai, Tondi belong to the Pandyas. Arikamedu belong to the Pallavas. Nagapatnam, Kaveripatnam belong to the Grand Cholas. And Motapalli belong to Kakatiyas. So now we have another new player. Here we write them as Hunds because they entered from Gujarat and Rajasthan. The Byzantine people came to South for trade. They brought their gold coins. Their gold coin is called drachm. Huns brought their gold coin. Their gold coin was also called by their name, Hunds. So Hunds brought Hunds. China brought their coins. We call them Phanam. Southeast Asia brought their coins. It is called pagodas. You know what is so interesting about this map? UPSC 2014, 15, 16, 18, 20, 21 and 22 PT questions. The rest are not asked, will be asked soon. Somebody is asking what is Chaturvamshati Mat? धर्मशास्त्र का दूसरा नाम है. So the question is, why they are interested here? Of course, they have spices. They have spices. So who is trading in South? Big merchants who have their companies. So we call them merchant corporations. Merchant corporations. If you look at the ethnicity of these people, they belong to three communities. Number one, Arabs. We call them Marakkars. Marakkars. Number two were the Jews. They came from Armenia, so we call them Armenian Jews. And number three, put a star on number three. After all, they are Indians. Underline Indians, because we have to discuss what do we mean when we say Indians. Once you are done, let me know. हो गया? What is Phanam? Phanam is a coin. So is pagoda. So is Hund. So is drachma. Merchants are Arabs, Jews. Obviously not आदर्श. ध्यान से पढ़ उसको, बोर्ड को ध्यान से पढ़. 1, 2, 3 लिखा है. Arabs are different, Jews are different. Armenia is somewhere else, Arab is somewhere else. Take a map, see once.
So what is the ethnicity?
What is ethnicity?
These three Arabs usually use.
They are the merchants who are coming to India. Indians are here, Arabs and Jews are coming to trade. Done? Everyone? आगे बढ़ो. Indians. So when we say Indians, which Indian is involved? Number one is St. Thomas Christians, world's first Christians. St. Thomas Christians are only found in India, Malabar. Number two, a group of people, a community who are called Chettiars. P. Chidambaram is a Chettiar. Now pull a line like this. Start the numbering again. Number one, some Karpadayars. Some Karpadayars are oil traders. In our language, we will call them simply Teli. They are lower caste, but they are rich. Number two is Tattars. Tattars deal in gold. We will call them Sunar, lower caste. Number three is Salias. When I write UC, it means upper caste. UC is upper caste. They deal in textiles. Number four are the Kaikolas. They are lower caste, LC. They are also involved in textiles. But what is so brilliant about Kaikolas is the government of India has ensured that these people get a GI tag. They are the only ones who can produce Kanchivaram silk. Nobody else can produce it. only these people. Kanchipuram silk. Now, why I have you to divide them into two? Number 1 and 2, I call them into the categories, put them into categories of merchants. The rest 4 are into the category of artisans. Why the king is so rich? Because the state takes taxes from these people. Now, when the state is taking tax from the merchant, they have to pay their tax in cash only. Cash is varichai. Cash is varichai. The name of the tax is antar ayam. Antar ayam varichai. That is the name of the tax. Antar ayam varichai. If you are an artisan, you pay your taxes in kind. You pay your taxes in kind. Kind is varam. The name of the tax is tatam patam. So the name of the tax is tatam patam varam. Tatam patam varam. So the state gets the taxes from these people. Now when I say kind, I mean, let us say you produce grain, you give taxes in grain. Let us say you produce gold, you give your tax in gold. Let us say you produce silk, you give your taxes in silk. But how do you calculate? So it were the Cholas who gave us a measurement unit. They introduced a measuring rod. A measuring rod. This rod was called Maligai Kold. That gives you the 3 most important measurement unit of South India. Kuli Ma Veli. If you do not understand Kuli Ma Veli, centimeter, meter, kilometer. So these are the marquee of distance. Now what if you're producing grains? So on the piece of land, the weight of your tax is measured in a unit called kalam, where 1 kalam is equal to 29 kgs of paddy today. Of paddy today. So the measurement system was fixed by the Cholas. हो गया? जी गौरव जी, आपको बहुत कुछ नया नया पता चलेगा. In fact, St. Thomas Christians are the first Christians of the world. In fact, Christianity developed in India first than anywhere else.
Sir,
Yes.
Antarayam is the form of tax and
No. Antarayam is the tax. Variche is the method in which you give that tax. Your father submits TDS, correct? TDS देते हैं वो? कैसे देते हैं? किस में देते हैं? Does he give lota, vessels, gold jewelry or cash? Exactly. So Variche in North India is called Nakad. St. Thomas only found in India. What about them in current scenario? They are still there, Adarsh. थोड़ा न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ा करो यार. करंट अफेयर्स गोल लग रहा है तुम्हारा. केरला का इलेक्शन फॉलो नहीं कर रहे. Yes, Tatam Patam is the name of the tax. Varam is the method in which you give the tax, kind. That is why the place is called Kanchipuram, but the silk is called Kanji Varam. Varam means kind. You're giving it, no, as a gift. Varam. What does tax in kind mean? It's a good question, Udipta. तुमने किसी को दिल दिया, उसने वापसी में तुमको एक फ्लावर पकड़ाया. Exchange in kind. There's no involvement of money. Done? चल आगे बढ़. हो गया बहुत. merchant corporations. So let us talk about the companies that existed before Amazon and Tesla. The most popular corporation or a company operated from a place called Manigramam. So it was called Manigramam. These are the group of merchants that operated from a place called Kerala. I hope you know where is Kerala. Number two is a corporation called Anjuvanam. Anjuvanam also operated from Kerala. These are very big companies. Do not consider them small companies. They are very rich. They are rich. They are Donald Duck of India. Number three is Nakanaru. And number four is Balijas. These two operated from one place, Motapalli. Motapalli falls in Telangana, Warangal. We will write Warangal because that is for us history. You want to write in bracket Telangana, your wish. Number five. Put a star on number five. Anuruvaru. Also called Nanadeshi. Also called Aivol 500. Also called the 500. They operate from Aivol, Karnataka. I have asked you to put a star on Nanadeshi because they are the most popular and the richest of all. We have a source that tells us how did they operate. The source, it's a very important historical source and it is found from Sumatra. Ladies and gentlemen, Sumatra is not in India. It has got nothing to do with Java, C++. It's a place. From here we have found an inscription called Barus inscription. This inscription belongs to these people. In this inscription they write that we have a kind of a council. We decide everything democratically. We call our council Veera Balanja. We decide everything. We have our own laws, code of laws. These code of laws are called Bananja Dharma. If you come from North India, particularly Gujarat, you should thank a South Indian. Because Bananja Dharma in Gujarat, Rajasthan will become Baniya Dharma, Vanijya Dharma. Number three, the items that they traded from Southeast Asia were camphor. Camphor सामान नहीं होता, इसका पेड़ होता है. Clove, इसकी लत्तियां होती हैं. बता दो सोचा. So that were brought from Indonesia to India, all thanks to these people. And number four, since they are Ambanis of that time, they do not need security from India. They have their own security. They keep their own private army. Their private army is either called Kongaval 700. That's one company, Kongaval 700, and Ponmai 300. Now you see, I have used at three places numbers: 500, 700, 300. All of them mean one thing, only one thing: directions. So they are saying we trade in 500 directions. They say we give security in 700 directions. They say we give security in 300 directions. Figure of speech. That is the end of your introduction. Now we will begin with the lecture. Easy part is over. So now I hope you have understood why this state is so rich. The source is only for point number 5. Yes, Vishad, that is why a star. Huh? The arrow comes from Anuruvaru. Look at the arrow once again. Once again. Once more. Done? Everyone? Yes? No. Yes. Direction. 700 directions they give security in. 500 directions they trade in. 300 directions they give security in. Fifth is Nanadeshi. It's not a point, it's a merchant corporation. They are the richest. And we have a source for them. That's why what I have given you record of. Barus is a place from where we have found a Siloti. Understand Siloti? Siloti Lodi? On that Siloti they have written something. Those are things written on a Siloti. Okay. Inscription और क्या होता है? वही तो होता है. तुम ऐसे पीसते हो, ऐसे रखते थे. वही तो है. Can you once again explain? It's a merchant. It is Reliance. This is their board meeting. This is their board meeting annual report. These are the things they trade in. All right. Funds, bonds, electoral bonds. They get security, central security, state security. South. South does not have feudalism. It has Vendar, Velir, Kalir system. Vendar, Velir, Kalir system. To make it simple for you, let us draw a pyramid so that you have a clue what is happening in north and south. You divide them into 3 boxes. On the top is the king. King here is called a Vendar. He's a Vendar. If you remember, the second box should be of the Bhogika or the vassal. Here he is called Velir. A vassal is a Velir. I am using the word vassal, but vassal does not exist in south because you do not have feudalism. Just giving you an idea. The third was peasant. If you remember, the peasant is called a Kudumbu. But the word, if you are a peasant and have a piece of land, you are a Kalir. This Kalir can be of 2 kinds. They could be Brahmins and they could be non-Brahmins. If you are a non-Brahman and a landholder, you are a Velallah. You are a Velallah. Simple. Kalir, peasant मतलब land. Peasant का definition क्या था? The one who owns land. याद है? क्या तुम्हें याद है? Sir, Bananju is equal to Baniya. हाँ, Singh साहब. Now, the king here is not an ordinary man. In fact, he is not even a man. He is God. And God does not have a gender. So he is Ko Kurnamai Kurnam. The God incarnate on earth. That is why you will see mostly the rulers in South India takes name after gods. Kulatung, Krishna. All right. No. Kudumbu is a word. No, Kudumbu is anybody who has a family. So what would you have a family for? To feed. To feed you need anaj. Now vassal, as I said, there is no vassal. Why? Because here the vassal is a salaried class. He gets salary. Here comes two. Olay Arayan. Olay Arayan. Then we also have officials serving for the ruler who are also salaried class. They receive salary. Here comes Velan and comes Padi Magaleer. Padi Magaleer. Now if you, meaning of Kokon Maikundam, just write King, God, बस ऐसे लिख. तेरे से नहीं हो पाएगा. मुझे पता है, मत पूछ. पूछ के फंसेगा. Now if you do not have a South Indian friends, this is the time to make one. At least for this lecture. Ask a South Indian friend, he will tell you that Magaleer is a girl. In other words, South India is completely different. No, it is. You do not know. South India is completely different. Here, the girl can be given a ministerial position. We have a very interesting example of this. There was a Greek woman whose name was Aramis. She was the chief of security staff of none other than Rajendra Chol. I hope you can understand how rich this woman should have been. Aramis, she is a Greek woman. She is here and she is the chief of security staff. Velan is another important position. Consider it, compare it with the magistrate of today. They are magistrates. I'll give you an example of this also. South India is different. Example. Once upon a time, there was a king called Raja Chol. I hope you have heard his name before. Arun Modi. Now this man, Raja Chol, brought Kaikola community. You remember Kaikolas? They are into textile and they are lower caste. He introduced men in his army. After all, the men were beautiful archers, the best archers in country. And they are lower caste. In other words, a magistrate can come from a lower caste. Men archers. He started creating separate regiment for these people. Separate regiment for these archers. He gave this regiment a name. He called them Shenai. Shenai. A community developed. Raja Chol died. Centuries passed. 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. In 15th century, a man was born, Chennappa Nayakam. And on his name was given the name of Chennai. Chennai. So Chennai comes out of Shenai of Raja Chol. Understood? If any South Indian tells you that he does not know all these things, change your friend. Okay? So, now we are going into further details of this. Okay? Done? Now we are to break it further. We are todenge isko. Done, everybody? There is a big kingdom called Rajyam. Rajyam has the king. King is the Vendar. He is the king. Since he has so much money, he divides his Rajyam into number of provinces. And these provinces are called Mandalam. It can also be referred to as Padi. Now in the last slide, in the pyramid, you wrote Padi Magaleer, which means a girl can or a woman can go up to become the governor of the state. Aramis was serving as the governor at a place which was later which was later to become the capital of Rajendra, Gangaikonda Cholapuram. Anyway, this province was further broken into number of districts. Districts is called Velanadu. In the pyramid you have written a word, Velan. Velan is going to serve in the district. Now, if you have studied political science, you know, as you move further from district, as you reach block, a very interesting political system takes shape. That is local self-government. Now you have municipal corporation. The block is called Nadu, also called Kotam. If you come from Nadu, Tamil Nadu, or Kotam, Pudukkottai, your wish, wherever you come from, you make your council. So if you are in Nadu and if you have made a council in your Nadu, it is called Nadu. So Nadu has Nadu. And if you are in Kotam, your council is called Kuram. Kuram. Please remember, South Indians taught the world about quorum in political science. Quorum. Every block will have gramam, village, where you have councils of professionals. For example, let us say you are barbers, you make one council of yours. You are jaggery sellers, you make a council of yours. Such councils are called Perinadu. So I have given you the exact descending order of the councils. Rajyam, Mandalam, Velanadu, Nadu, Perinadu. Do not mix anything here. You have to remember this in the same order. Now Nadu, everything is happening here because a block will have clusters and clusters of villages. I hope you understand. Block will have different villages. Were you doing this on the fresh sheet? No? नहीं कर तो फंसो. Brahman village. Brahman village. Brahman village has different names in different places. Mangalam, Chaturvedin Mangalam. They have different names. But the basic word which we use here is Agraharam. Basic. A very common word. Agraharam. Every Agraharam has a council. And this council is called a Sabha. Sabha. This is the most important council because this council, remember, it is financially autonomous. It has financial autonomy. Do you know why? Because here the members of the Sabha are salaried class. And also the king has given them 18 immunities, which are called pariharas. 18 immunities, pariharas. All right, pariharas. What is Perinadu, you are asking? I have no idea. I do not know what is a council in a village. लिखा तो है Council of Professionals is Perinadu. Simple अंग्रेजी नहीं आ रहा तो क्या करूं बताओ. Out of 18 parihars, you know 2. Hereditary, rent free. Imagine, the Raja cannot enter a Brahman village until the Sabha permits. That is the kind of power a Brahman Sabha has. Let us say you are a thief. You have entered a Brahman village and you have taken security. The Brahman says, we will protect you. Raja cannot come to you. 18 pariharas. If you have optional history, you have to remember all the 18 pariharas. Do not take optional history. All right. But the questions will be sure short. History questions are sure short, but पढ़ना बहुत पड़ता है. तेल निकल जाता है. कभी गन्ना देखा है? जूस निकलते हुए वो बार बार डालता है, घुमाता है. जब सब खत्म हो जाए और फिर करना पड़े तब हिस्ट्री है. ओके, बहुत ध्यान से बनाना है इसको, बहुत ध्यान से। क्या सवाल मन में आ रहा है? रोक लो उसको। लीव अ स्पेस हियर। What do you see in front of you? What do you see in front of you are 4 boxes, correct? But these are not 4 boxes. This is Harappa. Urban planning. Okay? And the same thing is true in South India also. That is why many historians used to say the real Harappans are the Dravidians of South. Alright. So these lines have a meaning. The line which go east to west is called Karl or Vaikarl or Arukarl. Just दो ही नाम लिख ले यार. Canal. All right. The line which goes north to south is called Vati. Vati is a sub-canal. Now, these lines which are coming in are basically the pipes that bring water inside the village. These are called Kannaru. I am sorry. These pipes will bring water to a place where the water would be stored in a place. Consider it as a catchment area. If you do not understand catchment area, if you have a poor vocabulary, write well. Kuwa. Kannaru. Because please understand, South Indians by default cannot have a well wala well. Why? Because old rocks, so they have catchments. Kannaru. Every box has a granary. Granary is called Kottakaram. It's a granary. And these boxes are like a grid. These boxes are like a grid. They are making a grid. Grid-like pattern. This is called grid pattern. Every box can have 100 to 150 families. Every grid. So every family represents one grid, which will have many families. And from every grid, you choose one person. So, pehli baat, how many grids? The number of grids are also fixed. The total number of grids in a Brahman village is 5 multiplied by 6 is equal to 30. So every grid will choose one person. So one person per grid. One grid gives you one member from the grid, making it total 30 Sabha members called Olai. It is that scientifically made. So, Sabha has 30 members. Olai. फोटो ही खींचते रहोगे क्या? पढ़ भी लो चचा। ए चचा, तुम लोग जीवन भर फोटो ही खींचते रहोगे क्या? इनके गुरुओं में इतने होते हैं। हिस्ट्री एंशिएंट, टीचर एक्स, टीचर वाई, टीचर जेड, पढ़ना कुछ नहीं। ध्यान से देख, नहीं मिलता ये सब, इसलिए समझा रहा हूं। देखो ध्यान से, यहीं पे पूरा पॉलिटिक्स है साउथ इंडिया का। डू यू थिंक इफ अ कनाल इज ब्रोकन, डू यू थिंक अ कनाल इज ब्रोकन, अ ब्राह्मण विल मेंड इट? सो व्हाट डू दे डू? ब्राह्मण्स आर इंटेलिजेंट स्पीशी अमंग ह्यूमंस. So what do? They hijack a piece of land outside their village. Okay? When they hijack this land, they give this piece of land can be called a buffer piece of land, buffer zone. This is buffer. They tell that they will not let anybody settle here unless you call yourselves the slaves of village. In other words, you guarantee that you will work for the village for free. These people are called Adimai. Adimai. There is another word used for them, simple word, Al, A-L, Al, Adimai. अब देखो तुम ब्राह्मण हो, you cannot say कि come and work for me. So you say, if you work for me for free, your past birth sins will be taken care of. So they do not call it forced labor. You do not call it vishti. You call it the labor that they give for free is called muttai al. So this is a very specialized kind of vishti, muttai al. So let us put it in a different way. What are they saying? That if you remain slaves here, you have to perform muttai al. So in other words, they are saying that if you stay here, we will let you stay for life. Matlab, it will become your hereditary property. So they put it like this. Look how great we are. We give slaves a hereditary piece of land. You will not find this in North India. Slaves are given a hereditary piece of land. This piece of land is called Vetta Peru land. Vetta Peru property. If you want to understand the logic behind it, the politics behind it, all you have to do is go to Netflix, type Asuran and watch that movie, Dhanush. That is basically on the Vetta Peru land, the politics of Vetta Peru land. Okay? Yes. Which system? One system? Girid. Acha. पाइप गया, पाइप यहां आया, पाइप अंदर आया, बीच में क्या बना? ग्रिड. ग्रिड क्या होता है? अरे तुम इस ग्रिड में रहते हो, देयर इज अ ग्रिड. इस ग्रिड में बहुत परिवार रहता है. इस परिवार से एक परिवार बोलेगा कि मैं बनेगा यहां का मेंबर, यहां का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. तुमको नहीं पता तुमको क्या चाहिए, मैं बताएगा. इसी को बोलते हो ना एमएलसी. अभी वो मुझे गाली निकाल रहा होगा, कैसे बोल दिया मुझको. मैं बोल सकता है, मैं कुछ भी बोल सकता है. कैन यू एक्सप्लेन द बफर जोन वंस मोर? नो. So therefore Sabha has 30 members and these 30 members are called Olai. So the question that should come to your mind is that if every grid has 150 or 200 odd families, how will they select one? How will they select one? So they do not select, they elect. South Indians are the first to give you an election system, which is actually called a chit system. Chit system. It is a system to find Olai. So this system is called Kuda Olai system. If I say it is the world's first election system, that would not be wrong. Kuda Olai system. So in the Kuda Olai system, you have nomination rules. Who can participate? Nomination rules. Rule number 1, you need to know all 4 Vedas. क्या समझे? क्या समझे? ब्राह्मण क्या समझे? फिर से बोलो. नहीं, go back to the first sheet that we studied. Go back and read revival of. You are certainly trying to say that if you are not following Brahmanism, you are not allowed. Number 2, this is how subtly Brahmanization happens. Acculturation, Sanskritization. Number 2, you say no criminal record. No criminal record. You cannot have a criminal record. Number 3, you have to be a taxpayer. Now you will come and bite me. You will say, "Abhi to bola tune ki Brahmins do not." 5, why 5 multiplied by 6? I have no idea, Ashwath. Ask them. Make it 7 multiplied by 3 to the power x. I have no idea. They are Brahmins. वो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. I have no idea. I just know they are 30. Now you would come and bite me saying that you taught that they are rent free, but then you are writing taxpayer. So please understand here, tax paying does not mean tax paying to the state. It means rendering your service to the village. All right, taxpayer. Number 4. A woman is also allowed to participate. Women are allowed to contest. And number 5, the age is fixed, 35 or above. Remove the first point, and you get the election of the president of this country. You understand? That is how great South India had been. All right, Kuda Volai system, election system. Now, you have chosen the 30 members from different grids, and all of them are going to sit in the Sabha. But do you think every time they will come and have a meeting for small things? For example, there is an issue in your family which is a part of a grid. So do you think that everybody should be involved? Obviously not. The member of your grid will have to take responsibility. Now alone he cannot do everything for 150 family. So what he does, he makes subcommittees. They are called Varyam. And the members of Varyam are called Arayan. They are called Arayan. Arayan. In the pyramid, you have written both the names. Go and check. Go and check. Olai, Arayan. So if Olai is the member of the Legislative Assembly, Arayan is the contractor, councillor of your ward. He is the ward councillor. Understood? At times what happens, that there are big issues. At the time of disasters, all the Brahmins of all the regions will come for a Mahasabha. Imagine that there is a tsunami. So there are different Brahmin families who will come for a discussion. These Mahasabhas are called Perungiri. And every Sabha will send a representative in their Mahasabha. The members, therefore, in the Mahasabha are called Perumakkal. So consider them as the Lok Sabha members or Rajya Sabha members, whatever you want to consider. So that is how the Brahman villages regulate themselves beautifully. Always remember, who can vote? Anybody who is living in that grid? Except those people who have not been a child. I mean, he has to attain puberty. So how do you check puberty? Girls, you know, I hope. How do you know that they have attained puberty? So you know, there is a process, biological. How do you know about the boys? What is the source inscription of Kuda Volai? It's a good question. But तेरे को क्या? अगर मैं बताएगा तुझे याद रहेगा बोल. लिख उत्तर मेरूर inscription of Parantaka II. लिख गणपति अग्रहारम तंजावुर. लिख Mahasabha comprises of Olai. हाँ Maha Olai, bigger Olai, Perungiri. इलेक्शन नहीं था ना दोस्त, रिपब्लिक है वो. रिपब्लिक इज नॉट इलेक्शन. इट इज नॉट इलेक्शन, इट इज सिलेक्शन. इट इज नॉट कंप्लीटली इलेक्शन, दिस इज इलेक्शन. देखो ना, रिकॉर्ड दे रहा हूं मैं आपको. वी हैव अ रिसोर्स. ग्रीक के लिए आप क्या पढ़ते हो? व्हाट इज द सोर्स? इलियाड ऑफ होमर, व्हिच इज नॉट अ सोर्स. देखो क्या हुआ है हमारे साथ. देखो आपका सवाल बड़ा सही है, पर मैं आपको समझाता हूं, इससे आप थोड़ा मैच्योर हो जाएंगे. देखो कितना, माफ करना, कितने कमीने लोग हैं वो. तुम रामायण कोट करो, वो क्या कहते हैं? मिथ है जी. वो मिथ के नाम पे उसको हटा देते हैं. और वो होमर कोट करते हैं, बोलते हैं ये हिस्ट्री है जी. सो देयर होमर इज हिस्ट्री, अवर रामायण इज मिथ. किसने किया ये? ग्रीक्स, वेस्टर्नर्स. क्योंकि हम मैकुले एजुकेशन सिस्टम के, ये बेसिकली बात ये है. So I'm giving you a source. That is why historians से लोग दूर भागते हैं. हाँ. Mahabharata is neither Puran not Ved. पहले समझो इस बात को. The story is dating back to the records which we have, dating back to 3rd, 4th century BCE. Okay, but Mahabharata was written later. It's a later submission. So goes for Ramayana. Ramayana is a story which is happening before Mahabharata, but it is written in 8th, 9th century CE. Late submission. Now, how do we say that? Because Mahabharata talks about the rulers and the battles. This is mentioned in Rig Veda, the battle of 10 kings. Alright, so there is a battle of 10 kings and that is the cue of Mahabharata. Vedic period, obviously. That's what I'm saying. No, it was written later. Exactly, they were added. That is why Mahabharata, every khand that you read is not all original. For example, Bhagavad Gita is the oldest. It was written in 8th century CE. So consider it like a burger of Subway. आगे बढ़ूं कि जिसको जो मन किया घुसा दिया, बोला मैं बताएगा तुझको, सूर्पनखा अमेरिका चली गई करना कटवाई. आजकल इतने बड़े बड़े आ गए ना लोग. नंबर 2, non-Brahman villages. A non-Brahman village is called Velan Vagai. A non-Brahman village is called Velan Vagai. And a Velan Vagai also has a council, and this council is called Ur or Urar. Ur or Urar. I hope you understand that non-Brahman village would be the tax-paying village. So 75% of the state revenue, I mean the orthodox way of collecting tax, comes from the non-Brahman villages. So it is the village of the taxpayers. And there are 2 taxpayers. Number 1 is Udayar. Udayar is actually like a zamindar. He is the landowner. He owns the land and he gives you the tax. The second is Ulukudi. Ulukudi is a tenant. If anybody comes from Tamil Nadu and is planning to write PCS there in Tamil Nadu, then you have to break Ulukudi further into 2. Kudinikki, Kudininga. Alright. So we are actually referring here to Kudininga, not Kudinikki. Kudinikki never pays tax. That is only for Tamil Nadu PCS. They will not ask you anywhere else. Number 3, Nagaram. Nagaram, that is the urban center. That is the 3rd. The urban center also has a council, and this council is called Nagara Nattar or Nattars. Simply Nattars. Obviously here the merchant corporations are very active. And finally number 4, the last, easiest of all. Please understand, South has a very special quality, and that comes because of its geography, and that is they have a coast. So there are many such professions that can only be taught in South India. For example, pearl farming, oyster farming, fisheries, different kind of fisheries. So here we already had a concept of special economic zones. Special economic zones actually existed in South India already. We have found the mention of special economic zones in Sangam literature. We have. Alright. These SEZs are called Taniur. Tani is water, Taniur, the council around the water. So, since there could be, let us say, 50 families or 60 families or 100 families only involved in oyster farming, maybe. So you do not have to make a council of these 60 families. So what do? You only choose one head man. He will look after it. So consider it as a union territory and this person as the lieutenant governor. He is called Swami Pattam or Pattam Swami, one and the same thing. So these are the 4 different things which can exist in a Nadu, making Nadu the most complex of the political systems that you would see. ऑब्वियसली और कहाँ होगा? बनारस में कैसे करोगे? कैसे मोती निकालोगे बनारस में? वहां सब चुग लेते हैं लोग. कर सकते हो? बताओ. मोती लेने नीचे जाना पड़ेगा. क्या कह रहे हैं? मोतीहारी में मोती नहीं है. हाँ, तो तुम जैसे मान लो कि तुमको अगर मान लो तुमको खाना है टाइगर क्रैब, तो बिहार जाओगे या फिर अगर खाना है तुमको इलायची, कहाँ जाओगे? नीचू. काजू खाना हो खीर में, फिर नीचू. पुण्य करने के बाद पाप करने जाना है तो कर लिया. आगे बढ़ूं? तुम लोग में से जितने लोग मुझे गाली निकाल रहे हो ना, अच्छी बात नहीं है. आगे बढ़ो. कुछ रहा करो. टैक्स पेरेंट कोड़ा बोले सिस्टम पे टैक्स टू है. कोड़ा बोले भाई विद द पे टैक्स. ब्राह्मण नेवर पेज टैक्स. वेलन वगई villages pay various kinds of taxes. Let us make a list of the taxes which are important. A. Udayar. He is the landlord. He is the landowner. This landowner has to pay 3 taxes. The first tax that he pays is Irai, also called Kadamai. That is the primary tax. Consider it your income tax, TDS. The second tax that he has to pay is Manai. That is the house tax. If he has built a house, he has to pay a tax. And the third tax is Padi Kaval. Padi is the province, Kaval is the security. It is the security tax that you pay to the state. These 3 taxes are paid twice. He pays all the 3 taxes through the village council, and he pays all the 3 taxes to the king also. So he pays 3 taxes twice. B is a Ulukudi. Ulukudi is the tenant. This tenant paid 1 tax only. The tax was Kudimai. It is the tenancy tax. Tenancy tax. After all, he must be working on somebody else's land. So if he is working on somebody else's land, that somebody else is a landlord. So he pays 1 portion of his tax to Udayar, the second portion to the council, and the third portion to the king. It is so easy. So he pays 1 tax thrice. Then comes number 3. C. Merchants and artisans. If you are a merchant, if you remember, you pay a tax. Antar ayam. Antar ayam varichai. If you are a merchant, you pay antar ayam varichai. If you are an artisan, you pay tatam patam varam. Varam. But I hope you understand that if you are a merchant or an artisan, you will not take your wife everywhere. Now somebody is asking what is ur. Ek minute, ruko ja beta, ek minute. Ur. Same ur. Here. Number 2. He will not take the wife and the children every time. So they are staying back. They need security. So he pays Padi Kaval also. The security tax. These 2 taxes are paid to the village council and also to the king. And finally, D. Ur, the village council also pays a tax. Even they pay security, padi kaval, to the council above them, that is Nadu, and to the king. This is the complete list. So, one part over. Now we move to the difficult part. Easy is over. If you ever have self-doubt, you cannot do it. Shift to South Sudan. South Sudan is a beautiful place. It has two plus points. Number one, before COVID, South Sudan was ancient South Sudan. COVID is medieval South Sudan. Post-COVID is modern South Sudan. So they have a very small history. If you clear the exam there and you become a bureaucrat in South Sudan, you will never retire in South Sudan because you would be martyred the very first day. So these are the benefits of being in South Sudan. Please Irai. What please Irai? I cannot please Irai. It's a tax. Name of a tax. Primary tax. Why nominee member have to taxpayer instead of being Brahman in Kuda? Huh? आदर्श कुड़ा बोले में ब्राह्मण नहीं है, सॉरी नॉन ब्राह्मण नहीं है. What is Nadu? It's a good question. You are a very good question. देख, Nadu has a Nadu. देखा? अरे पीछे पलट लिया कर कभी कभी. Done? Padikaval once again. Padikaval. Security tax लिखा तो है. Security tax. I mean, in Agraharam village, why nominee member have to taxpayer instead of being Brahman? Cut that line. They write no taxpayer. Please, you do it. Arey bhaiya, you live in a society. There is a person who comes and brooms the staircase. You give him 50 rupees per month. So that is part of your TDS or it is extra money? That is taxpayer here. कह तो रहा हूं that you are giving service, you are taking service, you are paying for it. Now we come to south and we start our discussion from south of the Vindhyas. The discussion will unfold in early medieval period, that is 1600 to 1000 CE. Anything which happens before, I do not know. So, here is a kingdom called the Kadambas. If ever UPSC asks, who were the first ones to bring Sanskrit to south? The answer is Kadambas. After all, they were contemporary of Guptas. So they were impressed by Guptas, had friendly sometimes relations with Guptas also. So they exchanged ideas and they reciprocated. So when Guptas began to decline, even the Kadambas began to disintegrate. They also began to disintegrate simply because even though they were towards the coast, they never used coast. Idiots. So they followed the Gupta style of power. No? For them, land was important. And they had many conflicts. So they disintegrated, and this is the moment when somebody rises of nowhere and establishes his kingdom. We call it The Western Chalukyans. Western Chalukya will come out of the Kadambas. At their burial, they will rise. Western Chalukya. But they knew they cannot become a king. After all, it is early medieval. So everything is happening in not no cash, ye phalana dimkana. They thought what to do. We are tribals. They thought kisko pata chalega. So they created a story. They said we are Brahmins. We are not tribals. We are born of Manavya Brahmana, Manavya Gotra. A new Brahman was created. इन्होंने ब्राह्मण ही क्रिएट कर लिया. That we belong to Manavya Gotra. And established their capital, Vatapipur, Vatapi / Badami. It's a beautiful place. On the basalt and the stones, the old stones, soap stones, they established their kingdom. Vatapi, Batami. The founder is Pulkeshi. The founder. So he thought कि यार मैं ब्राह्मण तो बन गया, but राजा कैसे बनेगा? कोई तरीका होगा? बोला, since I am Brahman and I want to do the work of a Kshatriya, I have to perform one yajna. So he goes to perform Ashwamedh, making him the first ruler of the Dakkan to ever perform Ashwamedh yajna and taking the famous title of Maharaja. He is the first Maharaja of Dakkan. पहली बार किसी ने महाराजा का टाइटल लिया. First Maharaja. And he took a very beautiful title. He was a very intelligent man. He took a title, Shri Prithvi Vallabh. Shri Prithvi Vallabh. Shri is Lakshmi, Prithvi is earth, Vallabh is the husband. In other words, what he is calling himself? Krishna. He is calling himself Vishnu because he is married to Lakshmi. So not Krishna, he is Vishnu. That's why I said, no, in South you are not a man, you are a ko konmai kundam. ये छोटी बात करते ही नहीं. तू होगा आदमी, मैं तो भगवान है. अब ये सब कहानी मुझे कैसे पता? पुलकेशी मेरे सपने में तो आया नहीं. Nerur plates. Nerur plates give this information to us. Now Pulkeshin had two sons. अब क्या होता है ना, when you are calling yourself Vishnu and you calling yourself husband of Lakshmi and Earth, there are already two women here. So why only in heavens, also in earth, two women? So Pulkeshin thought कि क्या है, मैं राजा है, मैं शादी करेगा. So he got married. Had a kid called Kirtivarman. But Kirtivarman took time to come to earth. So he was like, where is my child? So he thought, let me try with another woman. Mangalesh was born. Now Mangalesh is born to the other woman and is older. Kirtivarman is born to the queen but younger. Pulkeshin dies. Mangalesh is older, he says, I will take the power. So Kirtivarman is kept in custody, Mangalesh takes over. And during this time period, Mangalesh does a very important thing. इसको ऐसे ऐरे करेंगे तुम बोलोगे इसका है, मैं इसकी बात कर रहा हूं. तुम लोग का भरोसा नहीं. इधर Badami Caves. Badami Caves has many. If you have you been to Badami Caves? Jao na. There are many caves there, so we call it cave number 3. That is the main cave. When you enter that cave, this Badami cave was given to Buddhists. Pehli baat to. So he threw Buddhists out of his country. Took the cave and made it a Hindu cave. He Hinduized the cave. Why? Because when you enter the Badami cave, the first thing that you see is Varaha Avatar Vishnu holding a conch. Conch is a shank and a chakra. Chakra is a disc. All right. And that he placed on the flag of the Chalukya. That is their symbol. That is their insignia. Badami. Mangalesh tried to win over various lands, various territories around. But then he died. Leaving nobody behind. Kirtivarman had two sons. One will take over. His name is Pulkeshin II. The second son says, I will also become the king. But one throne, one king only, one chair, one person only. So the other son left and went far, far away. This is happening towards Karnataka. He went towards Andhra. His name was, I'll tell you, he forms a new kingdom called the Eastern Chalukyans, where the capital is Vengi, and he called himself Kubja Vishnuvardhan, giving you the character of Bahubali. Kubja Vishnuvardhan. Kubja means a hunch on the back. Hunch. So he was physically deformed. No, he has a deformity. So he is called Kubja Vishnuvardhan. For us, we have to concentrate here. Pulkeshin, Western Chalukya is more important. Don't ask me their Gotra. Same, huh? Brother, huh? Same Gotra, brother. Okay. Pulkeshin is going to construct an inscription. It is called Iole inscription. In this inscription, he takes two beautiful titles. He takes two titles. The first title is Eraya. And the second title is Satyashraya. Satyashraya means name of another child. विष्णुवर्धन. देख लिखा तो है मिश्रा जी, बस एरो लंबा खींचा है, बेटा वही है. Satyashraya, upholder of truth. He takes this title after defeating Harshavardhan, the North Indian ruler, at Ujjain in 619 CE. He defeated them. Pulkeshin, a very intelligent man. He happens to be the first to give you freestanding temples in India. Freestanding temples are basically made by balancing these stones. It does not require mortar and lime. Freestanding stones. There's a very beautiful temple on the cliff of the rock. It's called the temple, the Shivalaya temple. Now nothing is left of it. It's still continuing 1400 years without the use of any chuna and masala. It's a freestanding temple. So they are the ones who gave you. He was known to have relations with Iran. The prince there was Khushro II. So he expanded, Pulkeshin expanded and became the most popular ruler. In fact, I love that line which is written in the Iole inscription. He writes, this is the day when the great lion sweeps the joy from the earth. The great lion, Pulkeshin, joy is Harsh. All right. So, very beautiful sentence. All right. So, the message is very clear. Harsh means joy. So, he has defeated joy. That's what he meant. After Pulkeshin, you have his son. His name is Vikramaditya. I will write a word and I would like the South Indians to pronounce it for me. He took a title. Rana Rasika. What does that mean? Anybody else? Pronounce it for me first. Okay.
Someone who loves war.
Okay. Pronounce it for me. Huh? Exactly. It is Rana Rasika. So if you come from North India, it is not Rana Rasika. It is Rana Rasika. He is the lover of the battlefield. He loves to fight. Now I'll give you another title. You tell me what does that mean? Read it for pronounce it for me. What does that mean? Break it for me. I just taught you. Huh? Raja Malla, no. Mahalla. All right. So Raj Mahalla. What does that mean? Who is Mahalla? Is a person or a thing? Both. There is a person on which a thing has been named. There was a very plump ruler in South. He was named Narasimhavarman. So since he was plump, the mother called him Mamala. All right. So he made a city, Mamalapuram. So he goes and defeats that man and he calls himself Raja Mahalla. I mean, the destroyer of Mahabalipuram, the one who is going to rule over Narasimhavarman. So if you start breaking the words, it would become easy for you. In other words, he is responsible for the destruction of, or the beginning of the destruction of, Pallavas. Consider it taking of the revenge. All right. There are many rulers, Vikramaditya the first, the Vikramaditya the second, it goes on. But around 753, they will further disintegrate. Disintegration happened of Western Chalukyas again. 753. And from that disintegration, a new kingdom came into being. We call them Rashtrakutas. 753 to 975, that is their time period. And by ethnicity, they call themselves Yaduvanshi, the Krishna worshippers. But remember, in this region, Krishna is not still a ruler. Krishna is not even a god right now. Vishnu is a god. Krishna is not very popular here. He knew this. The founder knew this. He established a capital, Malkhed. In those days, you called it Manyakhet. He established the capital, and the founder is Danti Durga. Danti Durga. So he is the founder. He knew that people will not accept him if he is calling himself Yaduvanshi. So he has no other way to make himself Kshatriya other than Hiranyagarbhadan, making him the first Dakkani ruler to perform Hiranyagarbhadan, because he wants to be a Kshatriya first. If you connect, only then you remember every story. Hiranyagarbhadan makes you a Kshatriya. As he becomes Kshatriya, the kingdom began to flourish. But then you need the support of the local people. And here, mostly people are tribals. So if people are tribals and you want the help of these people, it is better that you change your god. And that idea comes to Krishna. Krishna the first. So what he thinks, that let us choose a god which is a tribal god. So he chose Shiv. How did he move to Shiv? By making the famous Kailashnath temple. Ellora. Ellora. Krishna. Now they are powerful enough to take help from the tribes of Dakkan, and that is going to help the Dakkan, Maharashtra, Western Ghats. and that is going to help them to expand. Then comes a ruler, a very powerful ruler, Govind III. With the help of the tribes, he attacks Kannauj and captured Kannauj, the North Indian capital city of the Pushyabhutis are gone. Kannauj is taken, captured Kannauj. So you can understand from Maharashtra all the way till North India, you have the empire called Rashtrakuta. You have the empire called Rashtrakuta. So the next emperor who comes, the next ruler who comes, he is not interested in expansion mostly. He is interested in establishing the culture, the heritage of this country. His region, his name was Amogha. A very powerful ruler, Amogha. Amogha was mostly interested in establishing what we refer to as the language and literature. He authored the first book of Kannadiga poetics. That does not mean Kannada was not spoken before. It simply means he gave you the proper syntax, phonetics and grammar for the language. The name of the book is Kaviraj Marg. The writer is Amogha. The writer is Amogha. In his court, you had many poets. Many great poets adorned his court. But the most famous was Sri Vijaya. The most famous of the poets is Sri Vijaya. He has many poets in his court. Amogha. So there are a lot of things. Amogha dies. Till this time, Kannauj is also gone. Rashtrakutas are feeling the brunt of the rise of North Indians because something is happening in North India also. Once again, the last try was made by Indra. Indra the third. He recaptured Kannauj. And that was the last of the rulers, last of the popular rulers of Rashtrakuta, because after this they would not be able to manage. They are going to crumble, particularly towards north. So this is the time when somebody will break out from them. Somebody broke out from them. Can you guess who? 975. Can you guess who? In the first lecture I told you, I will teach you what the state wants you to know. In the second lecture I will tell you where the Rajputs really came from. So the Parmars did not come from Agni, they came from Rashtrakuta. So they have a Dakkan connection, Maharashtra. देख मेरे भाई, सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं है, वो सोशियोलॉजिकल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, इट्स अ पॉलिटिकल पर्पस. उसको भी याद रखना, भूलना मत. Because he is Yaduvanshi. Yaduvanshi is not a Kshatriya. The idea is Yaduvanshi is considered an outsider because Yaduvanshi Krishna is not even a cult. So in that region you are considered just another tribe. How can a tribe become a ruler? So you have to become an insider first. No, please understand. When you say Yaduvanshi, it means Krishna, and Krishna is a cult from north. It means Yaduvanshi Danti Durg may have migrated from north to, so he's an outsider, no? He has crossed Vindhyas. Sir, what is the reason for such a myth? I have no idea, Chavi. It is just to make their Chavi better. Understood. Now we go to south. South. 600 to 1279. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom called the Ikshvakus. Please do not ask me what is the time period of this kingdom, because even I do not know. I have no idea. Bloody people write, I do not know. So Ikshvaku, their capital was Ayodhya, and the ruler here is Prabhu Shri Ram. I have no idea. Don't ask me when. So kahani bata sakta hu, because it is mentioned in the inscription in south. The story goes something like this. One day Ram, who is a Suryavanshi, Kshatriya, calls everybody in his court, all his people, the people who served him, the staff, and said, Dekh bhai, my work is over. I am going to retire in few years. I am going to turn 60. So when I will go and retire with my pension, I want you to take over. There were many Bharadwaj Brahmins in the court. They said, sir, what will I do? You are gone, what we will do? Ram ne kaha, abhe, we went Sri Lanka, we went international. I taught you how to fight. Go and fight. Make a kingdom. So the Brahmins listened to the Prabhu and established their kingdom. So Pallavas claim that they have lineage from the court of Ram and they belong to Bharadwaj Gotra Brahman. On the other side, there were many Chandravanshi who were also crying no, on the side, कि sir हमारा क्या होगा? हम तो गए, हम तो चंद्र वाले हैं. Well, don't worry. You also establish a kingdom and call yourself the Pandyans. That is how these two kingdoms were established. Pandyans' capital is Madurai. The capital of Pallavas is Thondi Mandalam, which was renamed as Kanchi. All right. So can you understand they have a polarity towards north? थोड़ी झुकावट है north की तरफ. No, they have a polarity, inclination. So Pallavas, the founder here is Simha Vishnu. And here the founder is Kardungon. Kardungon. Of course, Pallavas were Brahmins, so they got a bigger chunk. Pandyans were Kshatriyas, Chandravanshid, so they got a smaller chunk. In other words, Pallavas' territory is bigger. Okay? So Simha Vishnu, because he has come from Ram, Ayodhya, he is a Bharadwaj Brahman, so he was interested in the Brahmanization of his territory, which means he called Brahmins from north. But there was one condition. Only those Brahmins can come who know all 4 Vedas. Condition hai bhaiya. Only those Brahmins who know 4 Veda will be called. Chavi likh raha hai, sir, isn't the Kalyug going during the early period? Chavi likhna hai yaar tu. Only 4 Vedas. All right. So their villages have a special name. Chaturvedin Mangalam. Somebody was asking question why there is only 30, no? 5 multiplied by 6 grid. मैं तुमको अभी एक और गूगली देगा. This is 6 multiplied by 6, 36. So their grid system has 36. So their sabha will have 36 members. 6 multiplied by 6. अब पूछ 36 क्यों? I have no idea. Chaturvedin Mangalam. Kadungon also did the same. That is Brahmanization. Same. But since their territory was smaller, the process was easy. Number 2, he did not have those qualms that I will only call Brahmins who know 4. Koi bhi aaja. Any Brahman. So here you simply call it Agraharam. Here he is not keeping those rules that only Chaturvedis are allowed. So anybody can come. Chaube ji ke alawa 26 ji bhi aa jaye to chalega. So koi bhi aa raha idhar. All right. Now since the territory of Pandyans was smaller in comparison to the Pallavas, the process of Brahmanization got over here first. Under the son of Kadungon, he had a son whose name was Manavarman Avani Shulamani. Brahmanization over. Now they had got nothing to do. The only thing that they had got to do is expand, because now they have taken care of their problem. But here lied the problem. Sim Vishnu called all the Brahmins, which mean it led to the introduction of Sanskrit in Brahmi script. Sanskrit comes to south. Sanskrit comes to south. That is one of the reasons for the decline of the Sangam literature. Number two, since there were many speaking people, many Brahmins who could speak Sanskrit, now there were many poets who were writing in Sanskrit. For example, Bharavi, the writer of the famous Kirat Arjuna, a story coming from Mahabharata. So, Brahmanization is happening very fast in South. Revival of Brahmanism happening very fast. Kirat Arjuna. Brahmanization got over in Pandyans, as you can see. But Pallavas lingered. They were held back because suddenly a problem arose. The problem was the death of Simha Vishnu and the coming of his son Mahendra Varman. Why is that a problem? Because Mahendra Varman was a Jaina by faith. गई भैंस पानी में, बाप ने सब किया, बेटा ने डुबा दिया स्टॉक खरीद के, वो भी किंगफिशर खरीदा. Mahendra Varman became a Jaina. But again, see, this man will become the most important person. In this time period, the Bhakti movement had already started. So there was a Bhakti saint, a saint who worshipped Shiva. He was a Nayanar. His name was Appar. He convinced Mahendra Varman कि क्या कर रहा है सब? Become a Hindu. So he converted Mahendra Varman into the folds of Hinduism, Appar. Why are Brahmins ruling here in Pallavas? Isn't that unusual as per Varna system? No, it is not. Brahman can do anything. They just do not do everything. Just for the sake of the world. But then since Kali Yuga, so they are doing everything. खुद ही कर ले रहे हैं, छोड़ो, तुम क्या करोगे? वैसा. He became Hindu. And that changed this man completely. He is the first to give stone temples of this country. First monolith rathas were built by this man. Beautiful rathas. बहुत बढ़िया बढ़िया बनवाया. इतना बढ़िया बनवाया कि इसको खुद ही पसंद था. He did not wait for anybody to appreciate him. He took an inscription and told, I am beautiful. He took a title on himself. He took a title called Vichitta Chitta. Vichitta Chitta. Chit matlab man. Mental. No. Your mental faculty. And Vichitta means different. So he's calling the person who thinks differently. जिसका चित्त ही विचित्र है वही विचित्र चित्त है. If you break the words, it is easy to find the answer. Vichitta chitta. Have you ever realized that you paint your gods in a particular way? You paint Ram in a particular way, you paint Sita in a particular way. Who did that? This man. He was a great painter also. Again, the same thing happened. He did not wait for anybody else to appreciate. He took the title all by himself. Chitra Karapuli. The tiger amongst the painters. खुद ही को टाइगर कह रहा है कि मैं शेर. समझ रहे हो? Mahendra Varman, good man. So he was constructing everything. His time period you should know because he is the first person to do this. His time period is 580 to 620. You should remember at least his time period because this is the transition. I am not giving you dates for everybody because those are not important. After Mahendra Varman comes his son Narasimhavarman. Narasimhavarman was a bit plump when he was a child. So mother called him fondly Mamala. Mamala. So what he did, he saw his father making these rathas at a beautiful place. So he shifted here and made this place his capital city. Now it is called Mamalapuram, named after him, Mamalapuram, which today is called Mahabalipuram. All right, very close to Chennai. And he started working on the temples, built the Shore temple. If you go there, you can see a lighthouse also. All right, you will see rathas he added 2 mandapam in the ratha. So he added other things in Mahabalipuram. And he did a very bad thing also. That he should not have done. See, fighting chal raha tha. Everybody was fighting. They are fighting Chalukyan is fighting Pandya is fighting Pallava. Everything was happening. But one day what he did, he asked his masons to make a very big Varaha avatar Vishnu. Take name of the temple, likha to Shore temple is the name of the temple. For that you have to go to and visit India. South India is in India. Go visit. It is the name of the temple, Shore temple, and there are 7 Shore temples. You can only see one today. It's the name of a temple. Ratha is a ratha. Ratha is a temple. Ratha is a ratha because it is made of one stone. The rathas of the 5 Pandav and Draupadi. वहां पे दिखाते हैं टूरिस्ट, देखिए कृष्णा's बटर बॉल है, यहां पे कृष्ण क्या कर रहा है. Anyway, so Narasimhavarman got a Varaha avatar Vishnu sculpted, and he puts it into his water tank, sinks it. Why? Because Varaha avatar Vishnu was the symbol of Chalukyans. So he's saying, I will immerse you. Khatam. You are done. Vikramaditya gets angry. He comes to fight Narasimhavarman. All right. So therefore he takes out that from the tank and he puts it outside. And then if you go to Mahabalipuram, I'm talking to the South Indians because North Indians do not care. When you go, look at the panel again called the Arjuna's penance. Anna, go and see there. You will only find no sculpture has been desecrated. Nothing has happened. But there are only 3 saint-like figures whose heads are missing. Those 3 people represent Simha Vishnu, Mahendra Varman and Narasimha Varman. So Vikramaditya beheaded those statues, claiming that I will kill your whole Khandan. I will ruin your history from the face of the earth. So there is a fight going on between Western Chalukya and Pallavas. If you remember, the Brahmanization has got over there, no? There means Pandyans. So there was a ruler here, his name was Rajasimha. तो इसने सोचा क्यों नहीं मैं भी अपना पापड़ सेकूं. If Chalukyans and the Pallavas are fighting, he took a title. He called himself Pallav Bhanjana. Pallav Bhanjana. Bhanjana means destroyer. He says, I am the Pallav Bhanjan. If you speak in proper Sanskrit, you will say Pallav Bhanjan. I mean, just जो उसका भंजन करेगा. The destructor of the Pallavas. After all, he is lying. But still, who cares? So what is happening is, he has also attacked Narasimhavarman. Understood? Chalukyans are also attacking Narasimhavarman. So basically, Narasimhavarman is... You understand? So the attack happens. So ऐसा नहीं है that they got destroyed. It took time. After Narasimhavarman the first, then comes second, and it goes on. No, you have Mahendravarman the second also. So happens. But there are people who are working for the Pallavas. They think, यार क्या मतलब है यार? We are with Pallavas and everybody comes and beats us. So they thought we cannot stay with you. So somebody said कि बहुत हुआ. If we have to die, we will die on our own Why should we die for somebody else? So somebody broke out, and that somebody were called Cholas. So they were so pissed off of their own master that my master, what is this? Everybody comes and beats you. So one day they first kill their own master. And then they went and destroyed the Pandyans. But एक ही problem था, they could not destroy Pandyans completely. 10% of Pandyans were left. That is why Aishwarya was so angry. All right, Aishwarya was angry, no? She was a Pandyan. Yeah. Prakash Raj, I will take care of you. So that's what is happening. So Cholas destroyed these two. So 1 and 2 is done. Now we come to 3. Now we come to 3. The third are the Cheras. Their capital was Vachi. Vachi. They were matrilineal society, matrilineal kingdom, and they elected their rulers. They elected their rulers. Okay. Now the Cheras, what about Vikramaditya? He died. Everybody dies. He died, his son took over, Vikramaditya the second comes, then he does the same thing. Cheras. They were only 36 settlements big. So you can understand they are the smallest of all. There are 3 important rivers in this region. One is Periyar, everybody knows. The second is Ponnai, the third is Pamba. There are 3 rivers. So their 36 settlements grew in these 3 regions only, 36 settlements. And the most powerful ruler was Cheraman, Perumal. He was a good man, 9th-10th centuries. He was a good man. He had many friends. He had Arab friends. Arabs would come to trade in India. They became friends. So one day Arabs told him, come here, I will tell you something. So Arabs took him in a corner and told him something in his ears. So he came out of the hut or whatever, the tent, wearing a cap, converted to Islam and left for Mecca. Left for Mecca. And people were like, why are you doing this? He says, Dekho, go to Mecca, come back. Well, no, I won't come. I am going to stay there. No, people are like, but Cholas are sitting at our head. But I don't care. So Cholas went and destroyed them. Cholas. If you watch the South Indian movies, you would see that the protagonist, whether it's a hero, mostly a hero, never a heroine, hero, has been killed, no? He has been butchered to death. No? He has been put on that iron train, phatak, and then a train crosses by, and then he is being thrown into the, in the ocean, the sharks eat, and then in the second half he comes back. I think that is what is going to happen in KGF. That were Cheras actually. Were Cheras originally Kshatriyas? नहीं भैया, जिसका नाम चे से वो जरूरी नहीं कि क्षत्रिय ही होगा, कुछ और भी. एक लड़का पूछता है, आर गुप्तास ऑफ टुडे फ्रॉम गुप्ता एम्पायर? वैसे तो बहुत कुछ और भी है गुप्त. समझ रहे हो? Eight settlements remained. So the first thing that they said is, let us go as far as possible from the Cholas. And they went and settled in Calicut. Remember, they had Arab friends. So Arab friends kept on coming. In 1347, an Arab friend came from Morocco. His name was Ibn Battuta, who wrote a book called Rihala, which is written in Arabic. And in this book, for the first time, he gives the name of this kingdom. Before that, there was no name, at least not known. Zamorin's of Calicut, where Vasco will reach in 1498. समझ आया? कहानी बड़ी सुंदर है, अगर सुनाने वाला अच्छा होता। इतनी अच्छी अच्छी कहानी बन सकती है ना इस पे, पर वही बना रहे हैं, जग्गू मियां टाइगर 4, टाइगर 28, ऐसे बनेगा अभी तो। फिर टाइगर खत्म, फिर लायन शुरू होगा। जी क्या आफ्टर? हाँ, हु सेपरेटेड? Not ship separated, the people migrated. Huh? Who knows? Nobody knows. It's a myth. For example, you want to know whether they came from Ayodhya or not. What would a Pallava tell you? For example, you ask Pallavas, are you coming from the court of Ram? What will they tell you? Go and ask Ram. If you have problem meeting Ram, I will send you to Ram. So, exactly, but to meet Ram, Ayodhya, you have to meet Ram. So you have to meet a Pallava. Myths have a purpose, please understand. It is not a truth. Please explain last part. No. Adarsh, your name is Adarsh. This kingdom is called Zamorins. It is not U, it is N. Acha, back. Now we are left with 4 and 5. 4 and 5 are the easiest. 4 is Eastern Chalukya, which we had left somewhere before. And number 5 is the Ganga kingdom of the south. Both these kingdoms had one thing in common. They said we are Brahmins. Here are the Cholas. The Cholas, at one point of time, they did not have male heir. Male heir, लड़के नहीं हो रहे इनमें। इतने प्रेशर में कैसे हो? इतना काम है, इतना बड़ा एम्पायर है, हो ही नहीं रहा। So they thought, let us marry and have children from here. So a time comes in the history of the Chola period where the rulers are actually Eastern Chalukya or Ganga boys. All right, it has got a good ring to it. Eastern Chalukyan boys, Ganga boys. Now Cholas were Kshatriya. They married a Brahman. So the Jati that was produced was Brahman Kshatriya Jati. And Brahman Kshatriya is nothing else. Go back to the same story. Once there was a Brahman called Vashisht. Once there was a Kshatriya called Pratihar Paramar. No. So Cholas are the Rajputs of South. समझ आई बात? अब आएंगे चोलस पर. Everybody is claiming to be a Rajput. तो तुमको अगर लगता है कि सिर्फ राजपूत ऊपर की तरफ है तो नहीं, नीचू भी है. All right. Cholas are Brahman Kshatriyas. Cholas. If you want, you can write the number, whatever the number is, 6. Their capital is Tanjore. I will use the modern spelling, Tanjore. You can write Tanjore, but prefer calling it Tanjore. Na? The person who broke from Pallavas is Vijayale. He was once a vassal of Pallavas. He said कि हम नहीं रहेंगे तेरे साथ. All right, he had his own startup, so he left. For a long time, there is not a very great ruler here, but then after 200 years, a very great man is emerging here. The great ruler is Aditya. Aditya Karikal. Aditya. He is going to destroy Pallavas. He is going to destroy Pallavas The year is 893 CE. Khatam. That's it. Then comes Parantaka. The first. He took a title. He called himself Madurantak. Now Madurantak means destroyer of Madurai, and Madurai is the capital of Pandya. So it means he destroyed Pandyas. Pandyans destroyed. Khatam, do Khatam. Now comes Prakash Raj. Parantaka the second. If you have watched the movie, he was always lying on his sofa set. What types na? Parantaka, because he did not do much. अब कैसे लिखें अच्छा नहीं लगेगा क्योंकि इसका बेटा बहुत बड़ा आदमी है. So people write, he consolidated the empire. Consolidation happened during his time period. Consolidation. The next person is his son, Arunmoli Varman. He was a good man. I could only know about this man after watching the movie. What a great man. He could dance on boats. Also standing on an elephant. What a great man. I've seen that movie. What a great dancer. Anyway, he thought, let me dance away to glory and kill everyone. By 999 CE, he has destroyed the Cheras, taken eastern Chalukyans, destroyed the Ganga kingdom, also destroyed one wing of the western Chalukya. In fact, he is destroying everybody. Even goes to destroy the Rashtrakutas. Then, one day he sits on the boat after dancing. He says, Yaar, there is no king at all in South India. Every king is dead. I am the only Raja. So let me call myself Raja. But since I am the only Raja, I am Raja. You understand? Raja Chod. In happiness, he goes on to construct a temple, Brihadeshwara. Brihadeshwara temple is constructed, which is dedicated to Shiv, which is built in Tanjore. Take. After him comes his son, Rajendra. Rajendra the first. Rajendra is thinking, yaar, Papa did everything. Now what is left for me? मैं क्या करूं? So Rajendra thought, let me go international. He took Sri Lanka and Indonesia, Sri Vijaya kingdom. Then he said, कि देख, whatever centuries you make in Lords, but Wankhede में ही होगा World Cup. You have to also play in India. How would people know that I am as great as my father in India? So he got a plan. I will bring Ganga to South. अब ये थोड़ा impossible सा लगता है, but easy है. If you think wisely, all you have to do is take a lota, take a pitcher, take the water from Ganga and come back. अब देखो, for example, somebody comes to my home and says, कि sir, 1 glass water. I will give him. पता नहीं why people have ego. He sent his military commander, okay, to take Ganga water. One said, I will not let you take it. Why? So there was a Pala ruler. His name was Mahipal. He said, I will not let you take the water. So they had to defeat him. So this man is going to defeat Mahipal just for one reason, water. One pitcher. He brings the water, performs a yagya. Now he is called Gangaikond. Gangaikond. To celebrate this, he builds a capital also. Gangaikond Cholapuram. That is Rajendra for you. After Rajendra, there are few rulers, and then after a gap, you have got no male heir from the Cholas. So they started marrying the eastern Chalukyans and the Ganga kingdom. That is when the next important ruler who will come is actually a Eastern Chalukyan boy. He's not a Chola boy. His name was Kulatunga. The first. Now he was an ardent Shiva worshipper. He was an ardent Shiva Bhakta. He was the destroyer of Vishnu statues. He was the destroyer of Vishnu statues, and he ordered death sentence. Ramanujacharya, the great Bhakti saint, Alvar Bhakti saint, Alvar saint from south. The time period is 1016 to 1137. So it happened, everybody was scared that this man would be killed. So his friends, इस पर भी एक movie है, Dash Avatar. If you have watched, just first 5 minutes, you will understand the whole story. Ramanujacharya, his disciples, in the middle of the night, smuggled him to Karnataka. कि भैया जाइए, मार देगा. Kulatung comes to know that he is in Karnataka. He sends an army to Karnataka. His people sent him to Odisha. You see what is happening? Because of Kulatung, one good thing is happening. Bhakti movement reached North India. That is why NCERT says, Bhakti, North India, 12th century, and the chapter begins. They will never tell you how did that happen. So, this is how it happened. 1137 is 12th century. So, Bhakti movement reaches north because of this. Let me tell you a few things about Ramanujacharya. Few things. It is not to be written, just to understand. Because it is part of current affairs. मेरा सब को लेना देना नहीं, but समझाने के लिए. Ramanujacharya had 4 gurus. One guru was a Thambi. He was a Vaishya. So one day the wife said, why do you touch the feet of a Vaishya guru? You are a Brahman, and that too of a bigger clan. So he got into thinking. Next morning he left his wife. He had a habit. Whenever he would go to bathe early morning before he would pray, he would sit on the shoulder of a Brahman, go and bathe. After he has bathed, he will sit on the shoulder of a Shudra. And that is how he will enter the temple. Which means he opened the gates of the temple for the lower caste. One day he was praying in Srirangam, Ranganathan Swami. He was praying in Srirangam. So what he did, he thought that there is something vacant. There is something not making sense. So he goes to his room. There was a statue kept of a human, women Bhakta saint, Andal. He takes that statue and places it on the left side of Vishnu and starts worshipping. In other words, he is the first person to give importance to a female Bhakta. That is why statue of equality can only be made for this guy. Ramanujacharya, statue of equality. समझ आई बात? Why he? कुलतुंग के बाद एक और गधा आया. There was one more guy. His name was Kulatung. The second. You see what is oxymoron? Kulatung is literally, what is Kulatung, you know? Kulatung is another name of Vishnu. And he is destroying the statues of Vishnu. It's called oxymoron. Alright. Kulatung the second went a step ahead. He said, we follow strictly following of the 4 Varna system. He said from now on, the lanes would be different. For a Shudra, the lane would be different. For the Dvij, the path and the lanes would be different. You go to Chennai, you go to Tamil Nadu, you go to the villages, interiors, you will see, and go to the Brahman villages. For example, go to Tanjore. You will still see in the old houses you have 2 entry gates. Alright. So that is what he wanted, to strictly follow the 4 Varna system. He called a very big saint of those times and asked him to prepare a kind of a constitution. That saint prepared a book called Periya Puranam. Can you tell me who wrote this? Secular. All right. He writes this. Now you tell me, you are a merchant. Remember, we started from this, that there were many lower caste people, Teli, Sunar, very lower caste people, and they were filthy rich. They were giving you the tax. Now a ruler comes and says, I do not need your money. We have a caste system now. Kindly get away. Now imagine you are a merchant. Would you like to stay in this country? So this is where the internal crisis begins to take shape. And the crisis takes such a very bad turn that by the time of Rajendra III, who is the last ruler of the Cholas, everything was destroyed. Cholas came to an end, 1279. So that is south for you. Now we are left with only three, north, east and west. Okay? North and east. The common link between north and east is actually Guptas. The common link between north and east is Guptas. And the link is, there are two daughters. One is married in north, in Haryana. The other is married in Bengal. So they are Sadhu Bhai. Pushyabhutis, also called Vardhans. They have two capitals. Capital number one, the first capital was Thaneshwar, modern day Kurukshetra. And capital number two, they shifted later to Kannauj. So they have two capital cities. The founder is Prabhakar Vardhan. He is the founder. After him comes his son Rajyavardhan. So even if you forget these names, I don't care. But do not forget the name of the founder. But do not forget his brother, Harshvardhan. He is important for us. आगे बैठो. कैसा था बाहर माहौल? 60547. Harshvardhan, 60547. East Bengal. Shashank, Sadhubai. First we will finish Harshvardhan, then we will go to finish Shashank. देखो समझो. Let us say you are married in a family which has two sisters, so you are married to one sister, somebody else is married to the other sister, so you are Sadhubai, okay? And you would be very good friends. After all, you have got something to bitch about. But to make a very serious argument here, these two people are very close because they both are poor. Sadhu Bhai are good friends because they are on the same economic pedestal, but one becomes IAS officer. Then begins the problem. Now he thinks I am married to a wrong sister. You understand? So Harshvardhan is that character. Harshvardhan worshipped Shiv, and so did Shashank, because they all are Shiv worshippers. Shashank is a Shiv worshipper. This family is a worshipper of Shiv. But Harshvardhan is intelligent enough to understand the change of the wave at this moment. Harshvardhan, in his court, received a person, his name is Matang Devakar. Matang Devakar was a monk, वो घूमता फिरता यहाँ पहुंच गया in the court of Harshvardhan, and he convinced Harshvardhan that if you start worshipping Buddha, leaving Shiv, you will become rich. Harshvardhan thought, religion, money. So he started worshipping Buddha. He became a Buddhist. And he was right. Matanga Devakar was right. The Chinese came to know about this. China. which had a dynasty called the Tang dynasty. They were Buddhists. Tang dynasty. They came to know about it that there is a person after so long, after Ashok, somebody has become a Buddhist follower. So the Chinese, the ruler here is Tao Sung, was so happy that he sent three things: gifts, letters. So when I say gifts, I am talking about gold and other things which you do not have. And number three, a human, Huan Sang. So he sent gift, he sent a letter, and he sent a human, Huan Sang. So Huan Sang comes to the court. He says, "What are you doing? You are worshipping wrong Buddha." Harshvardhan says, "Ailla, wrong Buddha bhi hota hai." Okay. So he says, you are worshipping a wrong Buddha. तो बोलता है, तू ही बता, who is the right Buddha? बोला, Mahayana Buddha. So, though I have told this jokingly, but this is the moment in history when Hinayan Buddhism vanishes from India. Hinayan Buddhism is only found in one place in India today, only one, and that is Arunachal. Only one, there's no other place. Mahayana Buddha, Hinayan Buddha, gone from India, khatam ho gaya. The original Buddhism is gone. All right. Number two, Yuan Sang says, "My emperor sent you a letter. Did you read?" Bola, it is written in Chinese. I do not know Chinese. How will I read? So Yuan Sang helps him and tells him in this letter, "My emperor has told you to convene a council, a Buddhist council." So all right, the money is with us. We will have it. So a council was organized, convened at Prayagraj. Huan Sang became angry again. Bola, kya kar raha hai? What are you doing? You have called Brahmins, you have called Jains also, and you have called naked people also. But don't call them naked, they are agori. So Huan Sang says, "This is not a Buddhist council. This is not a Buddhist council. This is something else." Well, all right, if this is something else, we will call it something else. And that is how it was named. Kumbh Mela. क्या हुआ समझ में आया? The first Kumbh Mela was made in China project. समझे? पैसा उनका अयाशी अपनी. ये हुआ उस दिन. After all, he got lots and lots of gifts. So Harshvardhan thought where to invest. देखो, ये Harshvardhan is like a typical boy. On day 1 of the month, he is Harshvardhan. Till day 5, sometimes 6, he is Harshvardhan. 8th day, he is Sudama. Now he is only in disaster management. Again next month, day 1, he has a lots and lots of debt. His debt is bigger than Vijay Mallya's. On day 1, now he has two things to do. Either buy rice to eat or rice juice. Fermented rice juice. He goes for the fermented rice juice. Because once you have it, you do not need rice for 10 days. You understand? This is a boy, he's a typical boy. So Harshvardhan says कि पैसा है क्या करेगा? कवि बोला. So he has many poets and literati in his court. There is a person called Mayura. He says, "Le paisa, lik." So he writes Mayura Shatak. There is a person called Bratikshari. Bratikshari. बहुत सारी किताबों में नाम होगा ब्रतिहरि. The same thing. He writes Vakya Pad. Vakya Pad. If you have studied Sanskrit in school, you know. Tita anti sitata ami avama. है ना? वाक्य पद. कुछ नहीं बेटा, फारसी. ऐसे बनेगा अखंड भारत. देखो. Number 3, बाण. बाण वाला बाण नहीं, बाण भट्ट वाला बाण, बाण भट्ट। कादंबरी एंड हर्षचरिता, इन्होंने कादंबरी को भी नहीं छोड़ा, उस पर भी गाना बना दिया है, यह रहमान बिना। नंबर 4, हर्ष हिमसेल्फ वॉज अ प्रोलिफिक राइटर, बोला मैं भी लिख लेता है, पैसा अपने पे लगाएगा, खुद को सैलरी देगा मैं। रत्नावली, प्रियदर्शिका, and Naganand. These are the 3 books written by him. I'm giving you every detail, so kindly do not follow any other book. Okay, just read it from here. Hopefully you will remember all the details. ठीक? He also is the first one to give importance to Devanagari. Devanagari script develops in this time period. The only source that we have, the first is Baskheda inscription. That is close to Saharanpur, not in Saharanpur, close to Saharanpur, UP. Baskheda inscription, the first inscription to have the signature of Harshvardhan in Devanagari script. That develops. So Yuan Sang says ki dekh, we have sent you money. I know it is for you, but use it judiciously. Kumbh Mela has connection with Samudra Manthan. Haan, Samudra Manthan happened. The snake, Harshvardhan was sitting on the mountain top. So it must have, so he ran because he got scared. Kumbh Mela began. कहानी सुन लो इन लोगों से बस. So he had to do something for the Buddhists here. So he patronized the Nalanda University. Though he did not make it, it was made by Kumar Gupta. It was reopened for the for the Buddhists. So that is Harshvardhan for you. That is Harshvardhan for you. He has done these many things. Apart from fighting, he has done these things. Fighting में क्या ज्यादातर हारा ही था ये. जहां भी गया पिटा ही है. हर तरफ पता नहीं, तो समझ में नहीं आ रही बात. क्यों जा रहा भगवान जाने. The only place where he was successful is in Bengal. After all, his sadhu was poor. देखो, लिख लिया ना? नहीं लिखा? हाँ, मैं बड़ा कर रहा हूँ. रुक जाओ, कर रहा हूँ बड़ा. देखना, लिखो. अब बोलो, तुम बोलो, क्या बोलो? बांस खेड़ा, BANS, बांस खेड़ा. It's a place, eh? It is close to Saharanpur. Close to, not Saharanpur. Saharanpur is known for sagwan and शीशम का काम. लकड़ियों का काम होता है उधर. आगे बढ़ूं? चिंता मत, तुम्हें सबको मैं मजाक कर रहा हूं. मैं 10:25 पे छोड़ देगा. सिर्फ आज के लिए. तुमने मुझे स्लो किया है, मैं तुम्हारी गलती है. शशांक आ रहे हैं, शशांक पे जाऊं. वंस रिपीट देवनागरी स्क्रिप्ट. देवनागरी स्क्रिप्ट. बांस खेड़ा इंस्क्रिप्शन. देवनागरी इज अ स्क्रिप्ट. मैं समय हूं. देवनागरी. Done? Now Shashank is getting angry. He is poor. So in his anger, he cuts the Bodhi tree. Now he has 3 enemies. One is China, the other is the Vardhans, and the third are the people from Kashmir, Kashmiris. So Kashmiris sent their king to take badla, revenge. Lalit Aditya, Muktapid. Lalit Aditya Muktapid. All these will come on a horse and then they will kill Sashank. They will behead Sashank. 637. Sashank is gone. Sadhubai gone. Is there any way to memorize it quickly? Yes. मिक्सर ग्राइंडर में प्रोटीन के साथ 2 चम्मच सुबह शाम. सर वो हर्षवर्धन 605-47 मतलब 647. Yes, exactly. When I write 605-47, so dash के बाद जो एक छोड़ दिया वो 6 ही है. So 605 to 647. So it is written like 605-47. Just like you write 2024-25. So before 25 there is 20 already. For a very long time, I mean 150 years, there was a chaos in Bengal. Everything was chaotic. The reason was very simple. Now there are many rulers after Sashank. The death of Sashank has brought a very bad moment in Bengal. After every 5-6 kilometers, there is a ruler. It is very difficult to trade in this region. It's very difficult to come here. So all the people for the first come together. And this is the favorite of UPSC. You know why? Because first, for the first time in North India, reverse feudalism will happen. Reversal of feudalism. What do I mean by that? Which means all these smaller rulers will come and elected one ruler. Because now they are pissed off themselves. Small kingdoms lead to a lot of problems in trade. Toll taxes, different currencies. They chose one boy. His name was Gopal. And that is how the foundation of the Pala dynasty was laid. The Gopal, the beginning of Pala dynasty. Why did Kashmir feel offended? Because Kashmir was also a Buddhist center. Yaad hai? Kanishk. A Buddhist council happened in Kashmir. Why Kashmir? Because there must be Buddhists there. You go to Leh Ladakh, तो वहाँ क्या दिखता है? Apart from those things, और क्या दिखता है? कुछ तो और दिखता होगा. मंग दिखते हैं उधर. Gopal. The next important person here is Dharmapal. Dharmapal is very important because he controlled Kannauj, Assam and Nepal. Number 2, he built Odantipuri. If you come from Muzaffarpur and the Darbhanga wala region, Samastipur, it is very close to your place. Monasteries. I am just telling you because interview में पूछ देंगे तो मुंह बाग ऐसे. We never heard it. बहुत पास है तुम्हारे घर से, पता होना चाहिए. He patronized a university, Vikramshila University, which is in Bhagalpur. Bhagalpur is in Bihar. Bihar is in India. Now we go to West. Guptas. When the Guptas realized that they cannot manage such a big kingdom, they broke into 4 pieces. The family broke into 4 pieces. Maitrakas operated in Gujarat. The other wing was the Guptas of Mallav. Mallav. The original Guptas that remained in Magad were called later Guptas. Later Guptas of Magad. And finally, you have Maukhari. Maukharis of Bengal. So the Gupta family broke into 4 pieces. Understood? After all, they did not have cash. So if the family members are breaking, why would the staff not break? Even the staff wants to break out. But there is only one problem. Even they do not have cash. If the Malik does not have cash, how will the staff have the cash? So they have to look for something else. So they started looking towards their left. That is Gujarat and Rajasthan. Because this is that moment when people taking horses with swords, swinging swords, are entering this country. We call them Huns. Huns entered. Take. Huns entered from where? Gujarat. So they were given the name Gurjar from Gujarat. Gurjar. Gujarat. These are what staff? What is staff called in Sanskrit? Pratihar. So how did Gujara Pratihar was formed? Not from Agni, but the alliance between the staff of the Guptas and the Huns. They came together. Gujara Pratihar became a kingdom. Ab tum socho. Have you ever been to a place where it is crowded? Particularly temples. All right. So I do not know about you, but the boys, I'm talking about me. I will never enter first. I will first let the guinea pigs enter first. What if they die? Or there is a policeman who will beat, so I will let 50 people go first. If they are alive, then you go. You understand? That is the general natural way of dealing with things. When you are coming to a new place. What I am trying to tell you is that Gurjara Pratihar can therefore never be one. There are many. Infinity. Because people come in packets. And every packet will have a leader. And every leader will like to become a king. Therefore, there is not one Gurjara Pratihara in the beginning. We have reference and evidence of 2. One, I hope you have heard the name of. इसकी कहानियां बचपन में पढ़ते होंगे. He was so honest that he lost everything. That is one way of our elders teaching us that if you do not mix some lie, you are done. All right. The other person is Nagabhat. But for us, he is not the real founder because they are minuscule kingdoms. So who is the real founder? The real founder is that person who brought everybody, every small Gurjara Pratihar and made it into one Gurjara Pratihar. And that person is Mihir Bhoj. I love this guy. I love this guy. When in North India, people were worshipping Shiv and Buddha, he was very clear. He said, God damn it, I am God. Understood? He does not minces with words. He says, मैं भगवान है, मैं मुझसे बात कर. I am Adi. उसको बोलो पोहा रख के मैं आ रहा है. Adi Varha. I am Adi Varha. He mentions this in Baraha copper plate inscription. Baraha copper plate inscription, which is in Kannauj. From this you learn 3 things. Number 1, they are Vishnu Bhakts. Number 2, they are the only Vaishnavites right now in North, because either people are Buddhist or Shaivites. And number 3, he must have controlled Kannauj. Otherwise, why would his inscription be in Kannauj? 3 things from one sentence. Number 2, This Mihir Bhoj is very popular outside of India also. How do we know that? There is a person by the name Suleiman, 9th century. He is an Arab. By the name you can understand he is a Muslim. The other person is Al-Masudi. He comes after 200 years to India, after the death of Suleiman. In Suleiman's book, a word Al-Juzri is mentioned in his book. In Masudi's book, a word Juzr is mentioned in the book. They both mean the same thing. Mihir Bhoj. Put your teeth together. Do not move your lips or tongue and say Gurjar. Do not move your lips. Zur. All right. That is Gurjar. There was a very famous playwright in the court of Gurjara Pratihar. His name was Raj Shekhar. So after Kalidas, the only name which is very popular in India is Raj Shekhar, after Kalidas. So he was a playwright. Anyway, that was a detail which is required, not required, you would decide yourself. But anyway, after 300 years, 9th centuries, as I said, Arabs began to come. So why Arabs are coming? And from where? Which side? The same Gujarat and Rajasthan side. The Arabs began to enter. We simply call it Arab invasion. Arab invasion began to take shape around 10th, 11th centuries. So Arabs came. The same thing happened which happened with Guptas. The Gurjara Pratihara disintegrated. Just like Guptas were disintegrated because of the coming of the Horns. The Gurjara Pratihara disintegrated, and once again there were many packets of Gurjara Pratihar. Again many packets of Gurjara Pratihar were created. The total number of packets are 36. These 36 packets today are called Rajputs. The Rajput kingdoms. समझ आया कैसे है Rajput? All right. Out of these 36, I have told you one, Parmars, if you remember. Parmars. I will tell you 6. Out of 36, 6 are very important. Very important. So we need to make a list, a simple list. All right, it's a data. So just data. So you have to remember it. Done? ठीक है, 10:30. Beautiful hair. Is it natural or you have made it? By birth. Natural. Did you know how it would look like at birth? So natural. By birth you do not have any idea. So natural. Not by birth. By birth, how did you know how were you? Logic, no? What is the role of a playwright? To write plays, yaar. चुटकुला कर रहा है तो. चलो. The list. Let's do it. It's a small list. Let's finish it off. Number 1. There was a family called the Jajaka Bhuktis. They thought this is the right time. And they called themselves Chandelas. Chandelas of Khajuraho. Now there is a person, his name is Nanuk. He says, I am the founder. But historians say कि तुम झूठ कह रहे हो. For historians, the real founder is Dhanga. अब पूछो तुम क्यों ऐसा मैंने क्यों कहा. अब नानुक कहता है, Nanuk says that my mother went to the forest. Okay. सुनो कहानी सुनो. My mother went to the forest. She came back after 1 year with me. ठीक है. You can be a tribal. Then people asked, who is the father? He says, moon. But चांद तो मामा है. Dhanga is the real founder. Number 2 is Kalachuri. याद तो हो जाएगा ना, बस ऐसे याद करना है। कलचुरी ऑफ छेदी, कोकल। You remember Rajshekhar, the playwright? He ran here. Rajshekhar took employment here. Just of the fear of death, he came here. Number 3 is Gohilas. Gohilas of Nandol. Bappa Rawal, the one who will defeat Qasim. And it is Bappa Rawal which one Rajput family, clan of Rajasthan, claims his ancestry from them, Sisodias. All right, so they will come out later. So Sisodia's claim. Number 4, just to let you know. Number 4 is Tomars. Tomars of Delhi. There was a person, Anangpal. Just write one name, one is fine. Anangpal. Now Anangpal Tomars began to take shape. They had the same problem like Cholas. They do not have a boy. So what did they do? They looked for a nearby kingdom to marry their daughter, and they found the Chauhans of Ajmer. So they married their daughter in Ajmer. So they also got Delhi as dowry. The founder is Govindaraj. Govindaraj. Number 6 are the Solankis. Solankis of Gujarat. देखो, nobody is coming from Agni. देख रहा हो? Number 1 is Matta Mayura. They have 3 capital cities. These are the capital cities. Matta Mayura. Number 2 is Anhilwada. Anhilwada is important for us because the Somnath temple lies here. And number 3 is Bhrigu Kutch. So even if you forget the first and the third, do not forget the second. Okay? So Solankis have 3 capitals, and the last, number 7. Number 7 is Parmars. But they are exceptions, so put a star, because they came out from Rashtrakutas. They did not break from Gurjara Pratihar. Parmars of Dhar. So there was a man called Upendra the first. He had a similar story that my mother, let's not go there again. So historians said कि तू झूठ बोल रहा है. So historians do not believe in Upendra, they believe in Bhojraj to be the founder, original, the real founder, 11th century ruler of Parmars. Bhojraj, जिनके लिए कहा जाता है कहाँ राजा, कहाँ राजा, तोड़ना मत उसको, सही बोला करो. हाँ सही बात है, कहीं जहां कहाँ राजा भोज के बाद है वो, है ना. भोज, किसी ने गलत बोला था इसलिए कह रहा हूं, बाकी लोग सही कह रहे थे. भोजराज. Now this person is a maritime ruler. He has authored many books, but the most popular book of his is Yukti Kalp Taru, the most popular book. After all, this is the only book ever written in India on shipbuilding. How to build a ship. He is interested in maritime trade. That is where you end your writing. इसके बाद आपको लिखना नहीं, सिर्फ देखना है. अब फिर से आज ये सारा कैमरा निकाल के फोटो खींचेंगे. They all will become paparazzis. So the next, when we finish, is to just see the Rajputization of India, Kali Yuga. Okay? Once you are done, let me know. अगर कोई पूछे Mount Abu belongs to who? Mount Abu belongs to Parmars, because Dhar, the hill station of Rajasthan, was with Parmars. That is why Mount Abu temple has the engraving called Agni Kund. Agni Kund is written on Mount Abu temple. Done?
No, sir.
करो. Parmar is not from those 36. 36 ही कहते हैं. They are also, they also consider them part of the 36. कुल मिला के 36 है ही. जल्दी हो रही है लोगों को यार, बोलो। हाँ वही है भोजरा, भोजशाला, एग्जैक्टली। A kind of India. Western Chalukya. From Western Chalukya will break out Eastern Chalukya. From Western Chalukya now will break out Rashtrakoot, Maharashtra. From Rashtrakoot will break out Parmars. We have connected Rajput to Dakkan. Now we are going to connect south with north. Here is Cheras. Here is Pandyans. Here are the Pallavas. There are two places here which is out of the syllabus of UPSC for PT only, not optionals. Bhaumakar and Ganga. Okay. Then comes Cholas. They take the Ganga Empire because Ganga they would get married to. This is Imperial Cholas. बना रहे हो? क्यों बना रहे हो? पहले मुझे बनाने दो, एक दिन देखो, क्योंकि बाकी दिन तुमको मैं बहुत मैप बनवाऊंगा, तो तुम आदत तो डालो पहले. टुडे यू जस्ट बी अ गेस्ट. Palas. Here is Shalbhav, Kamrup. You should write the name of the founder here. The first ruler of North is Narak. He had participated in Mahabharata, as we are told. The first ruler. Here you have Nepal. Take. This is a dotted region. I will write V. V for Vardhans. Kannauj. V for Vardhans. How does marrying their daughter to Chaumans help the Tomars? अंजलि, देख मेरा सोना पड़ा इधर, मैं मरने वाला है, अब कोई तो ले ले, अब इससे पहले कि नौकर ले, इससे बढ़िया मैं किसी और को दे दे. तो शादी कर दिया, ये बेटी है ना, नौकर से थोड़ी इज्जत दें उसको. क्या सवाल पूछते हैं बताओ. कालाचुरी, कालाचुरीज. Chandelas. Tomars, because they will be Delhi. But Tomars did not have a son, so they got married their daughter in Chauhan's kingdom. So they took it. They were in Ajmer, they took everything. And this is Chauhan's. C-H-A-H, Chauhan's. But Chauhan had a ruler. He बोला पापा करूंगा तो मैं पहाड़ी से शादी. So he falls in love with a pahadi. So pahad is here बेटा. यहां बनाएंगे. गढ़वाल. G-A-D-H-A. गढ़वाल. G-A-D-A-H-A-V-A-L-A. So D-A-H-A dot. This is one region, Solankis. This is Guhilas. This is Hindu Shahi. This is Turki Shahi. तुम कहोगे तो नहीं बनाओ, बनाओ? हाँ, फिर करेगा तो देख लेना फिर. कल्लार, कल्लार्स, कारकोटा, कारकोटास. और ये कश्मीर का ये पार्ट काराकोरम से पहले वाला लोहारा, लोहारा किंगडम. This is the Kalyug map of India. Circa 750 to 1000 CE. Early medieval is over. Tan. अब फोटो खींचो, घर जाओ और बनाना. ये तुम्हारा भारत है. अखंड भारत. हो गया? बंद करें? तामझाम. Where can I read all this? Books.